You've probably stepped into an elevator, glanced at the small metal plaque on the wall, and noticed a number, something like maximum capacity 1,000 kilograms or 10 persons. It's easy to ignore, especially when the ride feels smooth and effortless. But that quiet little sign raises a surprisingly big question. What actually happens if an elevator carries too much weight? Is it just a guideline, or is something more serious at stake? Today we will uncover what really happens behind those steel doors when an elevator gets too heavy, right here on History of Simple Things. At first glance, elevators seem incredibly strong. After all, they lift dozens of people multiple floors every day without breaking a sweat. And in many ways, they are strong. Modern elevators are engineered with significant safety margins. But the weight limit isn't arbitrary. It's carefully calculated based on how the entire system is designed to function, from the cables and motor to the braking system and even the structure of the building itself. To understand why weight limits matter, it helps to know how elevators actually work. Most elevators use a system called a traction system. This involves a motor that moves steel cables attached to the elevator car. On the other side of those cables is a counterweight, essentially a heavy block that balances the elevator. Ideally, the counterweight is roughly equal to the weight of the empty elevator plus about half its maximum load. This clever balance reduces the effort needed from the motor, making the system efficient and reliable. But here's where weight limits come into play. The entire system is calibrated with that balance in mind. When too much weight is added, the motor has to work harder than intended. It's like trying to pedal a bicycle uphill while carrying a heavy backpack. The system still works, but the strain increases. Over time, this strain can wear down components faster, increasing the risk of malfunction. Even more important than wear and tear is safety. Elevators are designed with multiple layers of protection, and one of those is preventing overload in the first place. Most modern elevators are equipped with load sensors. If too many people step in, the elevator simply won't move. You've probably experienced this. The doors stay open and a gentle alarm or voice prompts passengers to reduce the load. That's not just a convenience feature, it's a critical safety mechanism. Why is it so important to prevent overload? Because exceeding the weight limit can interfere with how the elevator brakes function. Elevators rely on powerful braking systems that can stop the car quickly if needed. These brakes are designed with the maximum load in mind. If the elevator is significantly overloaded, the brakes may not perform as expected. While catastrophic failures are extremely rare thanks to strict safety standards, engineers don't take chances. That's why limits exist in the first place. There's also the issue of cables. Elevator cables are incredibly strong, often made of multiple steel strands woven together. In fact, they're designed to hold several times the maximum rated load. But again, that doesn't mean they're meant to be pushed to extremes regularly. Repeated stress beyond intended limits can weaken materials over time, much like bending a paperclip back and forth until it snaps. Interestingly, the weight limit isn't just about total mass, it's also about distribution. Imagine a group of people all crowding into one corner of the elevator. Even if they're under the total weight limit, uneven distribution can put stress on specific parts of the system. That's why elevator design also considers stability, ensuring the car remains level and secure during operation. Another factor people rarely think about is the building itself. Elevators are integrated into a structure that has its own limits and tolerances. The elevator shafts, support beams, and mounting systems are all engineered to handle specific loads. Exceeding those loads, even occasionally, can affect long-term structural integrity. You might wonder, what actually happens if an elevator is overloaded but still moves? In most cases, nothing dramatic happens immediately. The ride might feel slower or the system may struggle slightly. But behind the scenes, the components are under more stress than they should be. It's a bit like driving a car with too much weight in the trunk. You might get away with it once or twice, but it's not good for the vehicle over time. It's also worth noting that elevator safety has come a long way. Early elevators in the 19th century were far less reliable and safety concerns were a real issue. That changed dramatically thanks to innovations like the safety brake introduced by Elisha Otis in 1852. His design ensured that if a cable failed, the elevator wouldn't skidabute downward uncontrollably. Today's systems build on that legacy with advanced electronics, sensors, and fail-safes that make elevators one of the safest forms of transportation. Still, even with all that technology, the basic principle remains the same. Every system has limits. Engineers don't just design for what's possible. They design for what's safe over thousands, even millions of uses. The weight limit is part of that careful balance between performance, efficiency, and long-term reliability. So the next time you step into an elevator and see that small sign on the wall, it's worth paying attention. It represents a complex web of engineering decisions, all working together to make your short ride smooth and uneventful. And while it might be tempting to squeeze in just one more person, that little number is there for a reason. It helps ensure that every trip is as safe as the last. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.